But finding a tutor may be a little bit of work, but if you get a good one, the benefits will be great. The other thing I started doing was going to the office hours. Most instructors will have our office hours posted. So again, during the office hours, I would come by the instructor's office and ask questions. Usually when you have the opportunity to speak with the instructor directly, it's best to have the questions prepared ahead of time. In other words, you don't want to sit there and start the problem from scratch. What you want to do is you want to have the problems worked out and show them your work, and so they can just kind of pinpoint where the errors are taking place and clarify the information. So you want to respect the instructor's time. Instead of doing these problems from scratch, come prepared to the instructor's office with a set of problems already completed. Okay, so I had a tutoring center. I had a solution manual. I was putting in about 4 hours a night, and the strategy was to do every single math problem. And again, it's a challenge. A lot of us are working, a lot of us have kids, so it's not something that you can just, I recognize a lot of people have challenges. Maybe it's going to have to be with a math class. It's the only class that you take. But you have to put in the time. Some students can breeze through math classes. You'll see them. But eventually everybody will reach that point where it's no longer easy to just breeze through the class. They need to invest the time and work on a lot of problems. During that semester, I was working, I would say, about anywhere between 24 hours a week on the course. The other thing I did was I made friends with the classmates. I tried to find students who were smart, who seemed to get it, and I started meeting with them and having study sessions, studying with your classmates, forming study groups, either with just one person or multiple. Depending on your comfort level, if you find people approachable, all you have to do is ask. Is anyone interested in starting a study group? A lot of people will say no, they're busy, they're not interested, but it doesn't hurt to ask, and usually you'll find one person that's interested. And usually that person is pretty smart, because not to say that in general, smart students would study with smart students, and it's another strategy that I use to learn the material. So between the tutors, solution manual, doing every single math problem in the book, I mastered the material. It was kind of nice because it was a special class that I was working with. It was the spring of 1990, and it started out with a group, I'd say about 30 students, and it came down to 12 students in the end. It was one of those classes that a lot of people would drop because they couldn't hack it. But I remember many times studying with different people in that class, and it was kind of fun towards the end where we'd have study sessions like on the weekends, studying as a group, and even the instructor, Gerald McNabb, would join us, and he would spend maybe a few hours with us, working on problems. It was really a treat. I remember the next test that I took after getting that 42%, that F. He was there at the door, and I'll never forget this. He had my test in his hand, and he had this look of being proud. And he handed me that test, and I think it was, I don't remember it was 100%, but it was an A. And he just looked at me, and it was just like a real sense of pride that he saw me. There was times when he would come by the tutoring center, he'd see me because his office was right next door. He was actually in charge of the lab, and he'd talk to me once in a while. Just ask me how I was doing, and but it was because of him that I went into teaching math. I didn't realize at the time that taking his class would change my destiny forever, where I became a math teacher. My dream was always to teach at MATC, and hopefully one day I'll I'll be back there again teaching math full time. One can only hope. But we became good friends. We spent many semesters together. I was working with his classes, tutoring students in a tutoring center. He got me a job being an educational assistant, and eventually, with his help, I became a part-time instructor there for many years. So I owe it to him for the success that I have experienced. But again, I think it was not just him being a great instructor, but it was also the hard work of making it, and just make the choice. Decide that you're going to do well in your math class. Whatever math class you're taking, make that decision that you're going to be successful. And you're going to commit to doing whatever it takes. Getting tutors, doing every single math problem in the book. It may be challenging. You may be at one of those beginning classes where you don't know how to do anything. Well, there's math videos online. There's tapes. There's CDs. There's DVDs. It may take some exploration. It may take some shopping around. But if you're one of those people that struggle with math, like I did, if you look around, you should be able to find a resource that will help you. Again, with today's technology, there's a lot of videos on YouTube that will help you with your whichever math class that you're working with. I hope this story helps. I want you to take away from this story that it can be done. You can be successful regardless of your knowledge base of where you are. You've experienced failure, let's say, your entire life in math. I personally believe that everyone can succeed in a math class. All it takes is just preparation and help. But you have to be willing to ask. It's not one of those subjects that you can learn on your own sometimes. You need a tutor. You need someone that's going to sit with you. Maybe it's another student in a class. But try to take advantage of all those resources. Find a solution manual. Start a study group. Work with other students. Get a tutor. Spend several hours working with math. It's nothing can replace the time that you need to invest in the math class. There's no shortcuts with studying math. You need to spend the time and go through the rigor of solving equations. I hope this story helps you. And if you ever want to contact me, please feel free to do so. Please take care and have a nice day.